So you're trying to figure out whether or not you are an active investor or you're passively investing. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you a couple things to think about so that you can actually get on track. Coming up. Hey there, it's Billy with KeePon CashFlow, helping you to grow your money and your mindset so that you can get to the lifestyle that you really want to be leading and doing that much faster. Now on this channel, we're going to be sharing weekly tips and strategy videos just like this one. So if it's your first time here, definitely make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And you're also going to want to make sure that you check out the comments and the links that are in the section below. By being able to do that, you're going to be able to connect much faster with the community and also get your questions answered. And I'm going to ask you right up front, if you find value in this video, I'm going to ask you to share it with those that are part of your trusted community of family and friends. But as for today, I want to get back to this whole question of whether or not you are an active investor or maybe passively sleeping at the wheel. And the reason that this came up is, like most of the things, I was recently speaking to one of my students, and in a conversation we really got into the question of investing, and we were talking about things like 401ks, and we got really kind of deep into the conversation to the point that we started talking about the difference between a defined benefits plan versus a defined contribution plan. Now, a lot of that stuff happened around 1974 in the United States, and it really changed the way that we look at investing today. But I'm sure I'm going to take care of that in another video because before we even get there, I wanted to take a couple of step backs, which is this whole question of whether or not, as you are doing today, it's active or passive, and what could be the most important thing for you and your family. See, I like to think of, like most of us, especially those of us that have children, when we think about children and how we are going to leave a legacy for our children, it's not just about are we taking care of them financially, but also too, are we taking care of them mentally and physically? And one of the things that I like to think about a lot is really taking my children, or you think about taking your children to the doctor's office. You know, one of my mentors once told me that making or giving a prescription without exact diagnosis is like malpractice, and it's very similar to investing. Just stay with me and you'll be really clear in just a second. So can you imagine taking your child to the doctor's office? Your child's not feeling very well, and when you get to the doctor's office, the doctor asks how your child's doing, and before your child can even say anything, your doctor prescribes a massive amount of pills in a huge bottle and says, just take these and you'll be fine in about 10 or 20 years. Well, as a parent, you would probably feel a little bit strange about that. On the other hand, if you take the same child who's not feeling well, you take him to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, how are things going? How are you feeling? Do you have a headache? Do you have a temperature? Have you been feeling nauseous, etc., etc., etc.? And at the end of the consultation, gives you a very specific prescription and tells you to have your child take this for the next 5 to 7 days. As a parent, I'm going to assume that the second scenario makes you feel much better. And so why am I telling you that story? It's really no different when you start thinking about your investing and whether you're not you're an active investor or you're maybe passively sleeping at the wheel. You see, when I was talking to my student the other day, we got into the discussion and really realized that a lot of passive investors today are very similar to the first scenario. You have your 401k, or you maybe have your IRA, and you're blindly putting your money into every month into a fund that becomes a very big bottle that maybe at the end of your retirement will be enough to keep you healthy or to heal you. And some of the challenges with that are you continue to change during your life. So the things that you want to invest in, you probably need to adapt those as well. So you want to make sure that, yes, although you're investing, to be, not just turn it over to someone else. Turn your livelihood or your legacy that you're going to have for your children over to someone else. And that's really thinking about passively sleeping at the wheel or passively sleeping on the plane. On the other hand, if we go back to the second scenario with the doctor, it's very similar to really active investors. And what I mean by being an active investor is that you're someone who is asking the questions when you are looking to place your capital. You want to understand the specific time frames, and you want to work with somebody who also is asking you where you are in your life today, What are you wanting to be able to do? What type of legacy are you looking to leave for your children, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you're really taking a much more proactive approach to investing. You're really asking the questions and being asked questions by the person or people that you want to help you build your legacy for yourself, for your children, for your family. And that's one of the things that when you participate as an investor and you're active, this will really help you move things forward. So, like I said, a lot of times people get confused on terms of being an active investor and what that could possibly mean, and really being a passive investor, or kind of like I would say, if you're piloting a plane, you're maybe just sleeping behind the gears. So when you think about being an active investor, it's really about making sure that you are investing in something that's going to provide you a return that is right for you in a specific amount of time that you can actually see moving forward. So hopefully this has helped to clarify some of the things about what it is to be an active investor, and also some of the challenges that could be around being a blind passive investor, if you will. So like I said in the beginning, if you found this video to be useful, I'd like you to ask you to share it with your friends, share it with your community members. If there's something that wasn't clear for you, I'd like for you to also leave a comment here, because I want to make sure that that I can get back to you as quickly as possible, and that we continue to help you become a much more educated investor. So once again, this is Billy Keels with KeePon CashFlow. That's my 2 cents for today, and as always, hasta la próxima.